believe I'm live. Yay! I'm still always worried when I turn this thing on if it's actually working or not. Hello, Solaria Willow. Hope I'm saying that right. Kind of wait for a couple other people to roll in here, and then we'll start talking giveaway winners and witchy fails. How is everyone's evening going? Hopefully good. I like doing morning lives because I'm just awake and fresh at that point in time, but we're doing an evening one since a bunch of people commented down below that they were a bit sad that they missed mine since they don't wake up as early as I do. So we're trying an evening one. Why not? I have a beverage. If anyone else would also love a beverage, please grab one because I love them. Hello, Andrea. Grab a beverage. We're talking witchy fails in this live because, oh my goodness, after doing the lovely call to action for my giveaway, I realized that is some stuff we can really unpack. Have some fun with in general. Whew. Goodness. But let's see, what else? Don't want to really announce anything or do anything till a couple more people possibly pop in. But we'll get talking anyway. Why not? Why wait? So with the hashtag witchy fails, at first I was kind of thinking just like the silly slip-ups that people do when they start witchcraft, right? Like, especially because it's such a DIY thing. Like, how many times have people tried to make their own incense blend, or I tried to make my own magical ink, which went horribly wrong and it molded over and was disgusting. Other times, hi Random! Random Witch is here, yay! Also with it, I tried to make rose water at one point. Someone else had commented under the last live video that they had made rose water, it went horribly wrong. I did that too. All the roses that I had used in my Persephone dedication video were hand-cut roses from my grandmother's rose garden at my house. And oh my goodness, they were beautiful and wonderful and great for that photo shoot and all that videoing that I did. But then I let them die a little too long and I tried to make rose water. It was just bad. So there's easy little witchy fails like that. Hello, Dawson. There's a whole bunch of easy witchy fails like that people talk about, the little gimmicky stuff where you're just oh, I did this thing that was kind of crafty and it molded over, or that spell didn't work, or I got a little bit instead of a lot of bit. But maybe it's not so much a fail as just not you figuring out your craft right away. After all, it's a craft, it's a practice. We're supposed to be figuring things out as we go. It's not supposed to be a instantaneous thing when we use magic. We're all kind of practicing and seeing what works for us. So you might try someone else's spell and it doesn't work as well for you because you don't vibe as well for it. Is that really a failure, or is that you just learning that, hey, maybe I should do a little more of coming from my intuition as opposed to reading off someone else's post? Maybe I need to work on my belief set a bit. That definitely happened with me in money magic. I was doing pretty well with money magic, but I realized to make it come in bigger spurts of things, I had to focus more on my beliefs. I had to sit there and go, maybe if I take $1 and I think the only money that can come to me is a little bit of money, then all I'm going to get is a jar of coins I lost at one point given back to me. Later, it was a lot larger. And now some of that money spell is kind of flickering away. So I need to recharge it and rethink and go, okay, what beliefs am I now contradicting my money spells with? Is it a failure, or is it just a sign of growth? Hey, Noah! Everyone who's just arriving, I am drinking, because yes, wine makes a witch happy. So, yeah, grab a drink as well, because this might be a long one. But I noticed some other people were also, hello, Cosmic Whisper. People were also commenting down my lovely video that things that were even deeper than that. There were people who would cast spells and stuff that were failures in their eyes on their different mental health issues, the health issues in general. There were people who were like casting spells on like neighbors or like banishing spells and things to go away, and that didn't work. So it's interesting because I only ever cast magic on myself. And there are probably, I can think of 2 spells recently that in some respects I think possibly failures. Eclipse. And I've noticed men leaving my life, or men just being very awful so that I left their lives in general, any sort of romantic prospect in that sense. And it feels like it's almost like making room for somebody else to possibly come in. So was that one a failure because I haven't met them yet, or was it just building up? Another witchy fail that I've recently done, I don't know if anyone saw my most recent Instagram post, but I've been having a lot of trouble lately with body image. I've been trying to go through on my health and make that journey be a good one where I look at myself positively and I also get healthier instead of sitting in front of a desk 9 hours of the day to then come home and sit in front of another desk and actually get out into nature and to do the things. So on what Sabbath was it? A few Sabbaths ago, I finally took my corn husk doll that I'd made on Lammas and I burnt it in like a ritualistic, we are clearing my body of all the ill toxins. This is a representation of my old health habits. We are burning it, destroying it, turn it to ash. And then my new health and my new form will be. But I don't feel like I'm really approaching that quite yet. I kind of feel like I still look the same. I feel like I still kind of feel the same. I've been getting a lot of bad migraines to the point where they've kind of been debilitating me in some respects. And then I can't work or film videos or draw because I can't do anything while looking down because it just causes more strain in my head. And then I have headaches. So if that is the case, like, did that spell fail? That spell was supposed to be for my health, to bring me into a better, healthier mindset so that I can, continue to eat better, work out better, connect with nature better, do all these things. Or is that spell just still working? Is it possibly me being able to actually notice the bad things that I'm doing? I was getting horrible migraines, as I just mentioned, and suddenly I went out and was like, you know what? I need to move around some more. I have a step thing. I bought this right after I did the spell to help me move, to get moving. And I was walking like 1,000 steps a day, which is like very, very little. This is not a good amount to be walking. You should be moving a lot more. And I've recently, I can speak, noticed that I've also then been going down to just 2,000 a day. Average should be 10,000 steps a day. I haven't been doing that. Maybe I'm just taking more notice of these things now. And that's good because then I can get healthier. And then the spell may be actually working. Things of this nature. I guess I should check in with the chat. I've been rambling for a little bit. Under the influence, I see. Yes, pink, perfect. I am. Grab a drink, people. It's fun. Or if you're of non-alcoholic variety, tea. Would you want to drink coffee this late? Maybe if you're in another time zone, that'd be fine. Oh, let's see. Hello, everybody. Everyone's saying hi. I love this. You are very strong to share this with us. Oh, thank you, Random. I don't know. I feel kind of like I'm trying to get a little more vulnerable in the channel. Some of the stuff is a bit really polished in a sense. And like, I'm still new to witchcraft in general, and that comes with fuck ups, and life in general comes with fuck ups and mess ups, and things just happen, and I can make a really pretty Instagram post, and I can play with crystals and do all sorts of fun things and make everything look pretty and nice. But at the same time, it's also like, yeah, but it doesn't always look like that. And sometimes I worry about what photos look good, and a lot of that comes down to where my mental state is at. Like, I've noticed, I don't know, some people think that like selfies are a very like selfish, self-absorbed, like looking for attention type of deal, right? But I've always been kind of in love. Okay, incense, calm down. I've always been kind of in love with my own image ever since I was younger. I really liked the way I looked. I saw playing with makeup and how my hair looked, and all that is a very big artistic expression. And so I liked looking at myself in the mirror. If I caught a glimpse of myself, it would make me happier. It was a very positive thing for me, I guess. I didn't see it as such a shallow thing. And I've noticed recently that, like, I don't like my picture being taken anymore. I don't like, taking as many selfies. I don't like seeing myself in the mirror. There's even times, like, filming where it's, like, some people say it's kind of hard for them to, like, not look at the screen because 'cause they're looking at themselves. It's, like, really hard to, like, look at the camera, and I've noticed that, like, that used to be a problem for me, and now, like, every time I catch a glimpse of myself, I don't like it, and so it's really easy for me to focus on the camera in a sense. It's like, well, that's a silver lining, I guess, like better filming, but that's not a good thing. I used to I love my image. I take a lot of power from my image. I like posting selfies and things of that nature when I look good because then it shows I'm feeling empowered and proud of how I look and how I feel. Like it's such a bigger representation than that for me. So I don't like when people demonize that as much because I feel like a lot of people celebrating their own image is actually probably a better thing we need in this world with so much insecurities and stuff like that. And also to wrap around with that with witchy fails, I don't know, I felt a little bit more of a failure recently because I wasn't in love with my body, because my body should be a temple. It should be the thing we celebrate. It is the natural way that the world has given me, the universal energies and all that. Like you should be connected to yourself and to nature and all the things, and that makes you a good witch if you're empowered and don't let anyone say anything negative about you because you're a witch and you can do the magic and all the things. But what if you don't? Like, what if you have doubts? What if mid spell you have a doubt about something? Does that negate the spell entirely? Like, I was wondering about that. Like, there's some times where I sit here and I have doubts about magic all the time. I'm sitting here burning things in a cauldron. How do I know if this is actually going to work or not? Maybe it will. Maybe it'll be creepy and great. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be awful. Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe I'll be sitting here and going like, any day now. Maybe a sign. Something. I doubt myself all the time with that stuff. I doubt if my magic's working. I doubt if, or what if the spell is messy? What if it's just messy? What if, like, you sit down and you're like, I planned a thing. I'm going to burn and make everything smell nice, and I'm going to use the ritual oil, and I'm going to scry into the crystal ball, and I am going to light all the candles and have the whole seance, and I'm going to call in my deities, and you're sitting there and you're doing the thing, and then next thing you know, you drop the incense stick, or maybe the lighter's not working, or like you have to step out of the circle 20,000 times and break it. Or maybe you forgot a key ingredient in the spell, or maybe you did all this great work and the spell, like the result of it is like something actually pretty gross. Like I did my whole ritualizing of the ink thing, and then the ink molded over in one night. It was disgusting. It was so putrid. It was like, hey, I had it in like a little container just like this, but it was just like all black. So I was like, cool, it's an ink. And then I opened it and it smelled so bad. So bad. And I felt like I was pouring all of this magic out onto the ground because I did all that work for nothing. Nothing happened. Witchy fail. What else we got here? Back into the comments, mid-rant. Let's see. Art Kitchen Witchery helps me with mindful eating and fueling my body. That's another thing that I've been trying to get back into, is remembering that, hey, I want to be connected to my body, and so I should probably feed it good things. And what are the good things? The vegetables. I've been craving fruit like a crazy person, but for some reason I got into my mind, fruit is full of sugar, and that's bad for you. Don't eat it. What? No, go eat a mango, Sam. I have fruit punch close enough. Yay, cat, that works. Aesthetic can be a form of art craft, but being raw is also very powerful. I like both. And I also think like the aesthetic stuff for me is a very big celebration of, just liking my image and finding beauty in things. Finding beauty in one's own image, I think, is extremely important. And I think that's something that we don't do enough of. And even if it's not, quote unquote, the most realist off what other people might deem authentic thing that you would see, that's still someone celebrating their image in a sense. It's not them trying to cover up their flaws per se. Maybe it's just them like with makeup. I use a lot of it to accentuate parts that I really like about myself. I use mascara because I already have long ass eyelashes, which I love. So I might as well accentuate them more. Let's see here. Who else we have? Hope Lewis, glad I made it. I'm glad you made it too. Intention. Yes, intention with spells. Here's the question. How much intention do you really need to make a spell not a witchy fail? Can I have a little lack of intention? Can I be worried about the intention the same time I'm feeling into it? Am I allowed to doubt the second I cast the spell, or is it completely null and void? Random says, I was speaking today with someone about a tedious ceremony ritual that can be and how it can take away from the experience, how taking it more simple and raw and primal can be more powerful. Yeah. I have to wonder how many times did, like, the witches of old, in the ancient days, with all the old paganism, like, what if they slipped when they were sacrificing the goat? Like, people are always making mistakes and messing up. And it's like really cool to talk about the spells you did and the successes. And I think a lot of people are like really drawn in by like, oh, hey, I did this spell, or I wrote down this intention and I did this whole big thing and I won the lottery, or I totally met the love of my life. Like, this is how I did it. Like, I totally foresaw him in a dream or something, and in came the person. You know, people like hearing about all the weird ways people are spiritually connected and how it's all a success. But, you know, then if you're someone who's like, well, I'm not succeeding, like, then it wasn't that easy for me. That's another thing. Why does it have to be? Does it have to be easy? Is easy the mark of a non-witchy fail? If you stumble over the words, if it's a bit hard, but then you finally get the spell out, like, is it still fine? Is. But something about the idea of it has to be your full belief, your full will to push into a spell, to really make things like come out magically. And then it doesn't. Like, what? I don't know if we can control our thoughts to that extent, our feelings even to that extent, that we can go into something and be like 100% full on belief. Like, this is going to happen, especially if it's not here already. Like, when I think of the word belief, I think of someone like that's an accepted thing. You don't question it. You don't even think about it because, like, you just know it to be true. I know that if I reach over here right now, there is a glass of wine. I know I am live. I know that there is a table here. I know you are sitting on my altar. I know these things. Therefore, I can believe they are happening. But if you're not 100% knowing of them, then the belief can be kind of faulty mid-casting. And do you have to have that 100% oomph to make something happen? Or, even more so in that, because I've been thinking about this too a lot. What if your spell wasn't a witchy fail? In the whole, like, everything went according to plan in the spell time way. But then you go out and you don't follow through with it in the rest of the mundane world. You know, I've been thinking about this a lot. I did that health spell, and I was real good about working out and going on walks and eating healthy for about a week. And then the rest of the habits kicked in because I was like, I did a spell. These habits will be easy to do now. I don't have to try at this. Now I'm sitting here at a plateau in my health, trying to invigorate myself to do it better. And hey, guess what? If I didn't continue with the action, if I didn't continue to pump some energy into that, maybe I null and voided the spell. Maybe it's still kind of quietly working in the background, but maybe it's not. What else we got? Tanisha Bennett. I've learned so much from you. Thank you. Aw, I'm glad. Yay. Hope Lewis. Yes, go with what feels right. Exactly. It's a good idea to teach witches more about witchcraft if you think that they have malicious ideas for using magic. If you think they have malicious ideas for using magic? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I've gotten definitely, as I've gained a couple more followers and stuff, more people have asked me questions about casting spells on other people. And one, I feel like that'd be a solid witchy fail, not in the like you're being a shitty person witchy fail, but like in the I don't know how much that real works. Like, if belief is kind of the allowance, like if I think of how energy works, like how the current construct I'm in, and my beliefs may change at any point in time because I'm always on the fence about how this stuff actually works. Who really knows? But I have a feeling that if we are all emitting energy and have like energy fields around us and we're sending out energy, so say if you sent out a curse on somebody, if I sent out a curse on somebody, like that proper curse might go out in energy field, but if you hit someone energy's field, what if they took that energy and like recycled it somehow? What if it hits their energy and kind of negates itself? What if it kind of absorbs into them and then rebounds onto you? is that a witchy fail? Like, is that on the witch, or is that just like on the person going like, "Yeah, I got some damn ass good protection magic." Like, I don't really know how successful using in magic to directly influence other people who are not opting into your magic at the same time, or opting in that option into their worldview and construct, how effective that would really be. Now, granted, I haven't tried because I have a thing with free will, and it's kind of like one of my crossing boundaries thing, like not so good. But people have asked a lot of times, like I've talked about my love spell that I did, but I did it as a, hey, soulmate person who might work out for me if you exist, because I don't even know if you do. If you're out there, I'm at a good spot right now. We could meet up. This could be fun. You know, we could like do the marriage and the babies and the fun and the settling down thing now. Like I'm there, I'm ready finally. Just say it to the universe. Like that was basically what my spell was. Like, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready for you to come here now. I feel like I found a good place with myself. I feel like I have enough independence. I feel like I got this shit. So come in. I wasn't doing it on a specific person. I wasn't even trying to, narrow down a specific man in my mind of what I thought he would look like, or what I thought, like qualities even. I was just kind of like sending a message out saying like, yo, wherever you are, if we have opted into this life together, I am here. I am ready. Come here. Let's go. So like so some people have asked me for like direct love spells. Like, how do I make this person obsessed with me? How do I make this person fall for me? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you that. One, because I have no idea how. I don't do that kind of magic. That's not my thing. Nope. I don't do it. Haven't practiced it. Any spell I gave you would probably be crap anyway. And so I just don't really like it. I don't believe in it. Let's keep scrolling. So yeah, that's kind of like how I feel about it. Another reason I hate love spells, personal experience where I got what I wanted, but it failed to get me what would make me whole. That's another thing. What you ask for ain't always what you need. So one thing I kind of wonder about hashtag witchy fails in general is, what if you said, I want this thing, I want this job, this is good, yes please. And you ask for your guides' help, you ask for the universe's help, you're like all of the magic. And meanwhile, your guides and the universe and everyone else is looking at you going like, but over there is the thing you would really want if you just were a little more patient or had a bigger viewpoint, you would see it. Maybe it's over there. Maybe you need to stop with this limited view set of what you want and need. Is it a fail then? Maybe you just dodged a bullet. Maybe if you were trying to do a thing and it backfires horribly on you, instead of maybe it just fell apart because the universe is like, nah, I got something else that kind of is the same feeling you're going for, but it's better over there. Shadow, thanks for the light advice and the lightning meditation. I hope it helped. Weather is definitely something. I am very connected to storms. I've kind of been obsessed with them ever since I was a kid. Mostly because in the Chicago, Illinois area, the summer storms would roll in, there'd be big thunder, big lightning, all the good stuff. And there's not so much of that here in Arizona. It just makes me sad. But like weather magic, there's a witchy fail. There are times when like I can feel the weather kind of like pick up for a second. Or there are times where I really wished hard for rain, thinking like maybe this will just work. And sometimes it does. Sometimes the next day they're like, no chance of rain. Rain. I'm like, did I do that? I don't know. Other times I'm like, rain, please, rain. Nothing happens. Who knows? Complete coincidence? Maybe I'm crazy. Who knows? That's another thing to talk about as well. When it comes to witchy fails and being a failure as a witch, even doubting if you're a little bit crazy, I don't know, for me, it's just kind of a normal thing. That's just a thing I do. There are times where I am like, I have a raccoon skull I have painted stuff on and given offerings to that I feel is an entity that talks to me. Am I out of my damn mind? Am I completely crazy? Like, if someone would just walked up on me right now in my car, they would see I am talking to a rock because I have a crystal in my palm and I feel like it is somewhat imbued with Mr. Crocodile's essence. So, who knows? Like, and if I feel crazy in that moment, that adds a level of disbelief. And if that adds a level of disbelief, does it then cancel out all the magic or all of the connection I was trying to go for? I have to kind of wonder if no. I think no is the answer. I don't know if doubt so much does that, if it cancels out what you're doing. I think it's definitely something to work through why your beliefs are the way they are, why you're thinking the way you're thinking. But other times, maybe not. Maybe it's not the way you need to be thinking. Maybe it's re-cementing something. Maybe it's just working you through your own thought process so you can arrive at a better conclusion. Let's see here. What else we got going on? I'm being judged bad, so I'm glad to have others like me. Oh, no judging. That's another thing too. If other people are like staring at you, it's only make you have doubt with your own craft. You know, it's funny how certain people kind of found out that I'm a witch through like just happened circumstance, or like they're like, "What'd you do today this weekend?" And I'm like, "I filmed videos all weekend." What for? And I'm like, I mean, if I answer this question, we're gonna have the conversation. And then of course they give you that like kind of weird look if no one's ever heard of paganism, and they're all like, what are you doing? Like, are you in a cult? What are you doing here? And then their doubt, if you're a person who is maybe a little susceptible to it, if you're not 100% confident in that moment, because maybe your spells haven't been working, maybe you're not as connected to the earth, maybe you haven't been able to speak with your deities as easily. You know, maybe you're questioning which path to go on, and then their little bit of doubt seeks into you, and then you're sitting there going like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm out of it. Maybe even thinking this way, believing that maybe the magic isn't real for a half a second, makes me a bad witch. Like, I've definitely had a lot of moments like that throughout this year of claiming the word witch. Hell, claiming the word witch was such a giant struggle for me to get to that point. I had to really sit there and wonder, like, because if I said the word witch, even if I had the candles and I had I think I bought a cauldron like the day after I was like, yes, I'm a witch. But I was like, I was like doing shit with incense and like writing spells on paper and rhyming out loud and saying things like, thy will. Like, I was full on into the paganism already, but I just couldn't call myself the word witch. Why? Because I felt like that was crossing a line. I'm not that. I'm not that level of crazy. Oh, honey, you were. You were always that level. And it's not even crazy. It's just a better word that you resonate with. Why is this a problem? What else we have here? Hope do you live with relatives who judge you because you don't believe the same way that they do? My immediate family in a cult. What is happening here? Do we need to do an intervention? Like, they had really worrisome faces for a bit. But then the more I explained it to them, and the more, because they've always been into a little more of an alternative spirituality thing, so I never really had that issue with my immediate family. But there are definitely other family members who are very like Bible Belt religious. Like, my mom's from Little Rock, Arkansas, so I've got some people down there who are like hardcore into their form of Jesus loving. And so they probably would have a big problem with it. So there's definitely some things where I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about with them. And if we did, it would be like a really difficult conversation to have. And there are some people who even know, but I'm sure judge me a bit. I can kind of feel it come off them. And it does make me doubt my own magic a bit. It's kind of like, oh, is this crazy? Is this out of my mind? And because people who I love and respect and I really value their opinion are looking at me like, okay, honey, you do that. You do you. And that's hard. That's hard to have people who you respect, who, you know, you thought saw you in a really high manner, and suddenly you sharing something that's extremely personal and really potent for you that makes you happy and makes you have power in your life, makes them doubt your level of relevance, I guess, and stuff. I don't know. I believe a lot of your energy goes towards your intentions and your spells. You can't see it, and it isn't necessarily something you do knowingly, but it's there. Ooh, awesome possum. That's a good one. That's very true. Like, if you are even just thinking the thought and kind of focusing on it for a bit, like, how much energy is already going towards it? Do you have to will your energy into a thing for it to be effective? Or can you just be like, I'm doing the thing. Please work. Please work. Is that please enough? Is that enough of a oomph? So it's not a hashtag would you fail. And also, what is the measure of success? And also the idea of keeping at a spell if it doesn't feel quite right. I was watching Asbjorn's channel a few days ago, and he was talking about how this idea of practicing a ritual and keep doing it and to keep looking at your craft and see how things are working and moving. And it's funny how in spells I've definitely done with money magic. I've done that over and over and over again. I keep revamping the spell. I keep retrying the spell. I keep adding to something else with it. Like the first time I did the spell, I just had a candle and $1, and as I lit the candle and let it burn down, I just focused on the intention of like being happy with the amount of money I had. And I got jar of coins given to me, being like, that was yours. You forgot that. I was like, okay, $7 in quarters, great. And then the next time I did it, I took a check that I had written, like I was going to cash it into my own bank account, and I put $50,000 on it, and that got me an even better result. Didn't give me $50,000, I wish, but it got me a better result. And I wrote a more longer bit of a spell that went with it, and it seemed to be a little more potent, maybe because I already had more belief in it, or maybe because I was just reworking it a bit. What worked better with that was shooting more for a higher amount, a better idea. So practicing spells. Keep doing them. Maybe it didn't work the first time. Maybe it's a spell that needs to be built up. Maybe it's a spell that needs to be recharged. Maybe it's a spell that needs to just have you go through the motions several times. So the universe is like, okay, fuck, they're serious. Fine, here you go. Here's your thing. Keep annoying me with this phone call. I get it. I don't live with them, but yes, family people, I know. But I know I'm on my right path. Yeah, that's the best thing to do is just know that, hey, I got my stuff. Oh my goodness, the chat's going too fast for me to keep up with. What do we got going here? I'm trying to scroll back, people. It takes me a minute. There we go. Self-love spells are great. That was kind of part of the spell that I did with the burning of the doll and kind of like doing it with my health. It was kind of I'm doing this to help myself. I'm doing this to love myself more. That's what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to be able to get in a better mindset as well as get in a better like health set. Be able to eat better, work out more, and also just look at myself and like myself more. That was the whole point. But I didn't back it up with other habits, and I didn't back it up even with positive thoughts about myself. I didn't take the time to sit there and go, hey, I should, look at myself in the mirror and just smile at myself, because I know that releases a good hormone when you just smile. And putting smiling in my face in a mirror with the happy hormone that it releases when you smile is probably a good thing to just build up and do. The only thing I would say, Shadows of Your Love spell, was it on a time frame? Could it possibly that your spell is still coming into fruition? Yeah, definitely. I kind of just put it out there. I basically said that as the sun and the moon meet, so will my love in me come into my journey, come into my life. See, my sister wants me to teach her love witchcraft, but she has past attempted to summon ghosts, although she doesn't know much about consequences. I'm having psychic warnings about spirits. And I think it really depends on the type of spirit she'd want to summon. Sometimes fear that we have could also be projected on others, possibly. I know a lot of people would probably look at me in my relationship with a certain entity that I would deem a demon. I don't have a negative look at with demons per se. I think of demons as a very different type of energy that some people vibe with, some people don't. It's up to you. But I don't feel the same sort of like he's trying to trick me and drag me down and do weird shit with that at all. So some people might think I'm failing with magic in that way, but for me, it's not a magical fail at all. If anything, that's like probably one of the few things in my magic that always stays strong and like true. I'm always all about the connecting with that entity in full. Tarot is my thing. Intuition, yes. This is also a thing. Witchy fail. I keep pulling cards upon cards upon cards upon cards. And before, and this is just me feeling like it's a witchy fail, probably not so much a witchy fail, but I'm talking about witchy confidence, so why not? I've been pulling cards, and I don't necessarily know what they're talking about within my life anymore. Like, it's harder for me to pick up on the messages that are being sent. There are a lot of repetitive messages. So clearly someone's trying to beat me over the head with something. They're like, you're not getting it. I'm like, I know I'm trying. So that's difficult in times, right? Where a tool even that I used to use to clarify a lot is now more confusion added onto things. That's a problem. What else do we got here? Person could be on the way. I hope they are. Or is it just that your spell was a success, but not the way you wanted but needed? Let's see. I feel crazy until I accepted magic. That is the fun part, I think, is just kind of going. I've kind of basically gotten to this point where I'm like, fuck it. If I'm crazy, whatever. I have to leave. I have a family emergency. Good night, everyone. Oh, Cosmic Whisper, I hope everything's okay. Sending you lots of love and light there. Life makes you crazy anyway. Yes, it does. I think I might be near the bottom now. Why are you babysitting that glass of wine? I know, it's sitting over in the side. My sips are big. I do love it, though. Wine is good. And 1 glass a day is apparently healthy. I was trying to cut out alcohol entirely, and I was just like, you know what? A glass every once in a while is not that bad of a thing. Oh, let's see. Another thing I haven't done yet is announce the giveaway winner, because I did the lovely randomizing of the thing. Let's see. I have to click on it because I otherwise would forget. So I typed everyone's name into the lovely little mini web tool random name picker, and I got Luna Sage. You are the lovely winner of my giveaway, which does include cute little cauldron with a triple moon. Where's the rest of the stuff? Some pagan magic incense. A lovely carved little box. Necklace. Moonstone. Of course, as I said before, a lovely, I don't know what crystal this is, but it's a crystal athame wrapped in gold leaf. Some selenite, some rose quartz, I never can say these right, pancetta, soap. It's like lemongrass. It's, oh. The other one I still haven't gotten myself to use that I got from the box. And this lovely wand bag? I don't know. I haven't found a use for it. So now you get it. And I will try to find you. I don't know if, I don't think Luna's on here. But if you watch this later, Luna, either private message me on Instagram or try to do it on YouTube still. I know YouTube was ending its private messaging thing. That's now a thing. Great. That's how I was hoping to get in contact with people otherwise. But private message me on Instagram. If not, I'll try to come find you somewhere. And hope they'll have your address and send this all lovely stuff out to you soon. Yay, giveaways. All about it. Especially because it's like, if you have a witchy tool, like that's another witchy fail. Let's think about that. Witchy tools you pick up and you're just like, what if I'm not a good witch because I don't connect with wands? What if I'm not a good witch because I don't connect with a cauldron or whatever else, you know? Like, what if I'm a good witch because like amethyst? I don't like amethyst. I don't connect with it at all. So many other witches are like, amethyst is great. And for a while, I was kind of like, I'm just going to stay here and be quiet and not talk about it because I don't like that stone. I have a big hunk of it that I inherited from my grandmother, and I just got nothing. Don't like it. And finally I was like, screw it. I don't like it. It's just pretty. Don't like it at all. Don't have to like it. Don't have to use it in my craft. It's fine. Let's see. Good self-love spell is, I'm assuming that is Spanish, which I cannot speak. My rolling of my R's kind of really sucks. I don't think there's any R in there, is there? Same with more confusion with the tarot thing. Cards have been popping in over and over and clearly not getting the message. Yeah, it's always when the same card keeps reappearing. I really question my magic a lot. I'm like, okay, there's a message I'm not getting. Sorry, whoops. I thought I got the right message. I thought I was working on this appropriately. What was it? There was one sequence of cards though that I was laughing because I was trying really, really hard to understand what message was being sent to me because the same cards kept popping up. So I did a reading and I was like doing clarification card, clarification card, clarification card, clarification card, and like in the order that the clarification cards came up, when I then read all of their meanings and tried to interwove them, it was basically like stop overthinking things. I was like, fine, I'll stop pulling cards. Thanks, universe. I guess I'll stop for now. What else we got here? Lovely, lovely people in the chat. My witchy fail. I am obsessed with tarot, scrying, mirrors, crystals, balls, etc. But every time I try something, it never works out how I want it to. So sad. Oh, that's a tough one too. I keep trying to scry with crystal balls. I bought a lovely selenite one. Odd results? Nothing I can really fully work through, I guess, with my craft. Like, it's something where I'm always like, that's interesting, but like, nothing concrete, nothing like, but I'm not like getting like nothing, so I would discard the tool. I'm like, keep trying at it, but I also hate amethyst. It has some bad memories with it, but I have a major aversion to it now. Yeah, see, there's always crystals like that. There's always things that, you know, the witchy community or pagan community or Wiccan community, spiritual, whatever you subscribe to, likes a lot. And they're like, yeah, all of the things. Like, we're all about this. And you're just sitting here going like, am I a bad witch because I don't like the thing? Like, ooh. I hope not. Especially when you're new, right? Like, I remember when I first hopped on to all the different YouTube channels and I was looking around and looking for information and I got a few words under my belt and I was like, okay, I kind of understand what people are saying now. Like, I know what scrying is and I know what all these things are. And I still felt like just kind of like a loser or weird because things didn't jive entirely right. Or I was like, I would hear like several channels talk about a topic and talk about something very firmly as like their opinion. That's how things go. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. Oh, is this really the place for me? Like, it'd be really easy to question yourself if you don't have a good sense of who you are and what you jive with. But when you're still trying to figuring out what that is, like, you can't really stop interacting with other people entirely, right? Mark Crocker. It's Latin. See, I can't say Latin either. Not good. I'm not good with the languages at all. Barely good with English. Although I have a degree in writing, so you'd think I would be better at it, but that's why that's another one. For the longest time with spells, witchy fails, I was trying to make my spells really like la 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 la, like very poetic, very nice. And if I really work at something, I can make it sound fantastic. I actually wrote a little poem-ish thing that'll be coming out in a video soon that you guys like. Random, if you're still here, it involves drawings, since you seem to like my drawing videos as well. So sometimes when I do it that way, but a lot of times I'm just like, so setting intention. I would like to have some money, please, so that I feel comfortable in my living situation and then I may continue in my creative endeavors. So please give me money, universe. Thank you. Like, and that's the spell. Like, I'm not getting fancy here. I'm not. And for a while I was like, can you say spells like that? Or even not saying spells. Like, there was definitely a period of time where I was like, I don't want to speak this aloud. But every blog or thing that I had encountered or read up until that point, I was like, oh, you have to say it out loud. You have to say it with confidence and commitment. Back to that, like, I believe it thing. I don't have to say it out loud. Maybe I'll be quiet with it. And I felt like it wasn't going to be as potent or real or oomphy because I didn't say it out loud. Because I just felt into it instead. But that's what I felt like I needed to do in the moment. I tried to help a friend because they felt heavy and drained, so I did a sort of cleansing and detached a malevolent spirit from her that tried to stir up some stuff. So I had to nip that in the bud. Good for you for helping others. I hate the smell of tea tree oil. Oh, that's my kind of antithesis. Yeah, there are certain things, like, I cannot for the life of me, like, this bundle has possibly white sage, possibly other things. I don't mind it as much. It's got some other smells going on with it. But just white sage by itself smells like weed, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. It's like an every once in a while thing. Mostly because I do a lot of magic now in the morning, and the last thing I need is to walk into my conservative-ish job and be like, hi, I'm now here to help publish a magazine. I don't smell like weed at all. It's sage, I promise, and like get into all that stuff. Palo Santo is a lot better than sage, in my opinion. I need to try some Palo Santo. I've never actually got around to it. I rarely speak spells out loud. They still work. That's great. See, there's like stuff like that where like I love when witches share their individuality and when they disagree and when they talk about different things because I think that definitely gives other witches the chance to be like, "Oh, cool." Like me speaking about my witchy fails now, like it's kind of cathartic in a way to be like, "Hey, this didn't work. Maybe it's fine." But also, if anyone else is going to watch this video and be like, "Oh, thank God, hers have failed too." Like someone else is messing up magically. Like, yeah, I think we all do. And we all have different opinions and stuff. So if you don't like a thing, or you feel like you're a failure, or you feel like it's not working, or you feel like something isn't magically connecting for you, like everyone goes through that at times. Not everyone is like the almighty wizard Merlin at all points in times. Like sometimes you have to kind of struggle through things or not feel connected to them. And, you know, you'll get through that. And it's a natural, normal thing. Let's see, what else? I'm very self-conscious about saying spells out loud, but I feel very powerful if I just sit and think it to myself very loudly in my brain. Ooh, I know that feeling. There's definitely a bit of like screaming at myself in my head when it comes to certain things. Or there's definitely times where I'm in more meditative states, kind of halfway in between the astral and here when I'm trying to commune with deities and stuff. Loki likes to yell at me a lot. He's very like, hey, like he says something, and if like he like can tell the difference between me not getting it or me being like confused in a good way and me being like I don't freaking know, and so he yells it at me. I'm like, okay, ow, okay, I heard that, fine, we'll work with what that was. Hope Lewis, with lavender. Ooh, I love me some lavender. But some people don't like it. Some people can't jive with that stuff. I know. What was it? One of my friends cannot stand the smell of chamomile. Like it drives her up a wall batty. And I'm like, really? I love that stuff. So I literally couldn't have chamomile tea in the house because we used to be roommates and lived together. And she's like, do not put that near me. Let's see what else we got. What do you think about telekinesis, pyrokinesis, empaths? I definitely think they're possible. Empaths for sure. I've definitely known a lot of empaths in my time. I can just tell that they like pick up on things that I don't. Like they walk into a room and they feel weird and they like say something to me. And then a little while later, I'm like, oh, you were picking up on that shit over there that I now found out about like 30 minutes later. Like, oh, no, you got that right type of deal. Telekinesis, pyrokinesis, that stuff is a little bit more. I don't know, this is one of the things where like I'm kind of wondering with my beliefs a bit. I'm a little bit wavering. I think that there are definitely possibly some rules that we've all agreed to in this universe to say that like this is how things work in this dimension. And other things possibly could be broken. So I don't know if it's part of the consensus rules that we've all agreed to that no, you can't move shit with your mind. Or you can't set stuff on fire to a sense. Then there's creepy times where like my house set on fire when I was younger because and around the same time I had gotten my period for the first time and I wanted fire and warmth to surround me because it made my cramps stop. I just thought that over and over and over and over again. And that night my house caught on fire. So it's like stuff like that where you're kind of like kind of creepy. Was that me? Coincidence? Who knows? Who knows? Like so I don't know, there's I think a lot more possible in our world than we even know yet. I think to assume entirely that things are not possible or not within the realm that could be deemed reality is all fantasy, I think is entirely off. Science discovers new things every day. We discover new things about our minds and how things work or think the thing that we thought worked this way works an entirely different way. I think I'm an empath. Empath here. I'm an empath, and sometimes it's annoying. Empaths here also. Empath. Oh my God, is everyone empath but me? Witchy fail. That is one thing I for sure am not. Like, I do not have. I guess if I had a quote unquote witchy talent, it would be like my ability to like tap out and like connect to what I would think of as other dimensions, realities. I was able to astral travel ever since I was really young. Is something I would just kind of practice with all the time. So I can do that really well, but I can never been able to pick up on like what other people are feeling or other energies. I'm always like kind of like that clueless person who's like, what? It's tense in here? What? Like I have no idea. Damn all of you. I hope y'all have like a good way to adapt that skill. Not sure where that came from. I used to open and slam my bedroom door to lock it when I was younger. Mm, interesting. Haha, OMG, I totally listened to the fire chant one night, and later that night a fire started in my garage. See, it's creepy shit like that, where you're just like, pyrokinesis is not a thing, and then I hear the word coincidence, the more I'm like, that's not a freaking coincidence. Something happened, someone willed that into being. I don't know how, but they did. Most born witches are born with psychic talents. It's interesting too, the idea of like born witches, if you're born really natural with something. Was I a born witch or was something I kind of like fell into? Especially because so many people, I think, when they find themselves on a quote unquote alternative spiritual path, I think naturally they've always kind of been searching for it, right? Like I've always been drawn in by magic and all that since I was young. And I have everyone that I've talked to so far has always been like, yeah, I did the thing, but maybe I rejected it for a while, or maybe I ignored it, or maybe I didn't really tap into it. Like a lot of people always are drawn to these type of magical things. And then they kind of like come into paganism or witchcraft or all the things. And they're like, yeah, no, this is something I vibe with ever since I was really, really young. But I don't know, since I wasn't like raised or know that I have any hereditary witches. If anything, my mother was so excited. So she did the DNA thing with the Ancestry, and apparently I'm related to Miles Standish, and that man would be the person who captained the Mayflower. AKA my ancestors are the prudest of the prudes, which I kind of think is a hilarious little bit that they were like, totally like, we are Mr. Religious and we're going to do all these horrible things to the Native Americans and just be royal jackasses. And then their great, 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 great granddaughter is a very liberal witch. I hope they're rolling over in whatever grave they have. But that's just kind of funny to me. Ha! Let's see what else we got. My problem as an empath is that I don't have a connection to my own emotions or feelings a lot of the time. I have to focus mentally and remind myself that what you're feeling isn't yours. Let it go. Ooh, that would be hard. I had the hardest time sometimes with just getting out of my own mind or connecting with what is currently happening here as opposed to how my feelings are. Like if I have a dream or if I've been in the astral a lot and that shit's been affecting me, like I have to kind of like really cut the cord, so to speak, to get myself back into the mundane and be like, you need to type an email for work now. Like, no more thinking about the weird crocodile. You can talk to him later. I've been a witch on and off for 14 years and I'm here to stay. Yay! Maybe, Shadow, you're clearing your bloodline. Maybe. I'd like to think that. I'd like to think that I'm like, hey, assholes, y'all been fucking up for a while now. We're not doing this shit. Especially because you look back at some things and there's some really cool, awesome things that you can trace back all the way through. And then there's some things where you're just like, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Like I love when some white people were like, well, my family didn't own slaves. I was like, yeah, well, my hereditary line says otherwise. I have a will in Ancestry.com that says someone left someone a pair of long underwear, like some else piece of property, and one slave. And I was like, great. We were those assholes too. How nice. Wonderful. Mark, could one who was born and raised in a Catholic family but never a connection with that faith be born a witch? I think so. I think anyone can kind of find into witchcraft. I also think that people, even if you think stuff a lot of times travels through bloodlines, I think if you trace back all of our families far enough, that we'd all be a version of pagan in some way, shape, or form, like old ass pagan. Like really think about it. If you traced your family line all the way the F back, like if you had that ability, then at some point you weren't like, your family wasn't Christian or Catholic or whatever else. Like if you go all the way back, at some point, some relative of yours probably believed in a pantheon of deities or an old ass god, maybe that was even forgotten to time. I don't like to, that's why I kind of laugh when people are like, I'm a native born witch and you possibly can't have enough power as me. I'm like, why? Because your line has just been practicing the magic for that long? Like, just because my line maybe lost the magic for a little while, lost the magic, doesn't mean I can't reconnect with it. Like, all of our ancestors were probably pagan at some point. Oh, there was a Catholic and also too, like Catholicism, that shit's witchy as fuck. Well, there's definitely some witchiness. And you don't have to be a pagan per se. or Wiccan or spiritually alternative to be a witch either. I'm definitely not one of those witches. Some people I can see where they're like, because parts of the Bible and certain parts say that like, and all the witches would burn and whatever else, right? But as far as I'm concerned, I see a whole bunch of different religions disregarding different parts of their holy books all the time. They're like, I mean, we definitely wear the multi-fibers thing, but you can't have like a homosexual relationship. That's wrong. Really? Because the parts were right next to each other and they were both kind of strict about that. Or like having sex before marriage, they'll be like, oh, that's not so bad. Like, whatever. But if you're an adulterer, then, oh, screw you. You know, or if you do this, then screw you. Like, the people like to pick and choose their stuff anyway. Like, it's all kind of like a collection of faith and stuff, so who knows? What else we got here? I think witch is something you claim, and witchcraft is something you practice, not necessarily a birthright, you know? Yeah, that's definitely, like, if you were going to subscribe to the native-born witch, per se, idea, I think we're all native-born witches. I think it is something that you kind of opt into, for sure. Anyone can be a witch. Anyone can kind of tap into things. And that's good to know, because if it's something that resonates with you, it's something you want to tap into. I think we all have the ability for magic. Some people are gifted in different ways. Sure. Clearly, a bunch of empaths versus not an empath. I'm way more connected to the astral. Maybe that's my gift. That's my thing. That's how I can tell such great stories and stuff as a writer, because I can tap into all the wibbly wobbly. The word witch wasn't translated correctly, in my understanding. It was warlock, oathbreaker. Ooh, intriguing concept. Wild Wonder Witch. Hey, I also want to start a witchcraft channel, but I don't know how to get started, by the way. This is Mark. Oh, hi. Just start filming. I pretty much just picked up my iPhone since it had a camera, and I just went to town. I just was like, what's a tag video I could do? I think I found a list of 13 ways you should follow Wicca or something, and I filmed a video on that. I filmed a little like witchy morning routine, quote unquote, as like something I was like going into. And I just kept filming videos. Just start. Put it out there. Join the YouTube Pagans group on Facebook and post your videos up. See what people like your stuff, and just keep posting. Do it consistently. Try it out. Go for it. What else we got? Being born a witch and having a birthright are two different things. A birthright is an inheritance. Well, yes. All can be connected. It would make us all stronger. Yeah. All the witchy channels. Yes, please. Everyone who's a witch who wants to do a channel, do a channel. Do it. I was so scared for the longest time for starting this channel. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I was new. I didn't know what I was talking about. These things are too weird. No, start a freaking channel. Do it. I just have been documenting my questions, documenting what I think, documenting, hey, I found this in the astral. I did this. I did this thing. I did whatever. You know, put your questions out there. And as long as you're being respectful and interacting with other people, it's all going to go good. Let's see. Raven out there. I started a witchy blog. Ooh. Put the link down below once this video is no longer a live thing, and you guys can comment, right? I always forget that, like, I have a weird live screen now. I don't know how lives work all that well. Put the link down below. Check it out. Shadow, can a certain goddess call to someone during your childhood? I think so. I'm kind of looking back more and more in my childhood, and as I said in my crocodile video, I think that this crocodile thing has been connecting to me for a lot longer than I took credit for. I'll do an update on that soon, guys, because, oh my goodness, I had a breakthrough like none other. I watched a couple of witchy channels, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to the astral, we're figuring this out, and it was a big breakthrough. So I'll probably have to film another coffee cauldron update about it. Have you ever been frightened of a deity? Bassett showed up in my dreams near Halloween, and she freaked me out so much I woke up. Hashtag witchy fail. Yes. The crocodile thing freaked me out. I guess a little mini update I can do here. I think it's Sobek. I think I've kind of fully on just been like, yep, it's Sobek. I say the name, yes. I think he prefers for him to call him Crocodile. Maybe because I'm pronouncing Sobek wrong. Maybe that's what he's like, you're not getting it right, kid. Just the crocodile part's fine. But he freaked the fucking hell out of me. Scared the shit out of me. Loki, I was hesitant with. There's a lot of Persephone was probably the only deity I wasn't freaked out with, and even her at times like still freaks me out because I think you feel this very like you feel this power that comes from them, so it freaks you out, and you think that like, oh my god, am I being respectful? Am I saying the right thing? And like I'm worried about pronouncing the damn crocodile's name right. Hashtag witchy fail. You can't say your own god's name because you're not sure if that's the correct pronunciation. Or if we lost the pronunciation to history, like what if that wasn't even their name? That's like the translation of what the Romans or the Greeks or whoever else got to eventually. Who knows? I definitely feel freaked out. I think that's part of the thing you have to kind of work through. You have to sit there and be like, is this working? Not only just like, does the connection work for the deity, but also does the connection work for you? It should be an equal relationship. I felt really disrespected, but didn't know how. I felt really this one girl went around with my book of shadows showing the whole campus before I wrote a protection spell. I felt really disrespected, but didn't know. Oh, hell no. Don't you dare show a magical book without permission. I would be like full on hell no with that. Why isn't this showing this? Show this comment. I totally agree. Denise vlogs. Wild wonder which whoever did that needs to get their ass beat. That's so fucked up, disrespectful. That is so horrible. I am so sorry that happened to you. I'm extremely protective of my books. I actually haven't protected them with magic per se. If I were you with that situation, I don't know. I kind of, everyone who laughs at witches or kind of think they're crazy or like, look who this person thinks or like, look at all this stuff they do. I'm always of the mindset that they have some belief that you have some power. And I feel like if someone thinks you have power, then you definitely have some power. And just kind of reminding them of that. I mean, like, you really thought you could take a book of shadows and show it around? Like, that was very personal and private. That was hugely disrespectful. And also, you should be careful what magic you're fucking with. Just leave it at that. Let their imagination do the worst for you. I think the deities people get freaked out about are more comfortable are the ones corresponding with similar energies. Very true. In yourself, you are unfamiliar with. Yeah, that's definitely true. There's probably essence of all of my deities within me. I think that's why we vibrate with them, right? Like I was trying for the longest time to connect with Hades, and I got nothing in return for that nonsense. And because when I look at a lot of cornerstones that come out of Hades' myth and stuff, they aren't things that I would revere in myself as a part of divine masculine, even within me. Like when I think of a divine masculine, I want to embody more within myself and then connect to in the whole. Loki way more embodies that in whole. Like he is like way more aligned with what I would want to see more in myself as a divine masculine thing to live up to. Same thing with the crocodile. There's something there that I think I was trying to avoid for a long time. And I had to kind of face that in myself and go, no, shouldn't be avoided. Shouldn't be avoided. How can I improve my chances of astral traveling while in my sleep? Put intention before you sleep. I cannot put that enough. If you have crystals, put them under your pillow. Something that like I have a lot of like a lot of my spells or things that kind of like put oomph into things involve holding things and pushing them through like all day, like filling my intention with them all day and then having it kind of evolve beyond that, right? So I would take like a crystal that I have, I'm holding it all day and I'm like, my intention's going into this. Every time I think about this, I'm just going to put intention into this to astral travel when I sleep tonight. Put it under my pillow. And then like, right, it's like you're like feeling hazy. Just keep thinking, I wonder where I'm going to go tonight. I wonder where I'm going to travel in the astral tonight. Like ask a question that allows yourself a little more ooh with it. That always seems to work for me. Let's see. I try really hard to find a masculine deity to vibe with, and I just have a lot of trouble with it. Hashtag what you feel. Yes, that is that was a hard thing for me. I think it is very, very important to one, I had a question this with me. How is the toxic masculinity influencing how you think about masculinity? Because all of that all powerful Christian God thing, like, you shall listen and obey, made me really disrespect or not vibe well with anything that was very strict and orderly. I needed something a little more fluid to really connect with the masculine, which is why I connect with Loki at a very high level. I also am like extremely into change and playful and chaos as a person naturally. Like, I'm an air sign. I'm just very like, whew, full on Gemini here. Like, I have the two faces. I like to flip and go back and forth. And so it would make sense that I would want to do that. So that's what's great about, I think, connecting with a bunch of deities. I try to connect with a bunch of them too. Like, don't stop at the, or like the first one didn't talk to me. I felt like such a witchy fail when Hades was like, I don't want to talk to this one. Like, I felt there was one point in meditation where I literally think like he finally showed up for a second and he just like looked over and looked at his wife and is like, why are you messing with this one? Like, I was just like, he doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want no vibes with me at all. Witchy fail. The deity doesn't want to talk to me at all. Witchy opportunity. One day I'll click and reckon. Tarot cards, 2 under the pillow. It helps me. Ooh, yes. Tarot cards under the pillow. Yes, toxic masculinity. It's awful and hard to work with. I don't know who to ask. So I ask for guidance in general. So I haven't gotten that far. Hashtag witchy fail. Yeah, that's what I kind of finally allowed myself to do to find Loki. I kind of just sat there and was like, okay, these are the qualities I want. Anybody lining up with that? Who wants to jive? And like, that's when I found Loki, because Loki was almost like waiting for the invitation in a sense. Like, he almost needed that initial query to appear, and then he was like, okay, now we're gonna play. And I'm like, what does that mean? what? And then I had to kind of run through a string of tests for him to see, I think, whether or not I was willing to really allow the reins loose. Because I think a lot of people think they want to go along with the rules that a deity kind of vibes with, or go along with a set of energies per se, but they actually don't. And that's just part of being self-aware, of realizing what actually works with you, right? Like, I thought I wanted like a god of death, a god of the underworld. That's what I wanted. And well, yeah, that was kind of true. I really was way more into the fluxy weirdness. I wanted that bad boy energy, a little bit of that like outsider, which I felt Hades was, but there was other options that aligned better with me in that sense. And Loki really challenges my questions on masculinity. When I am looking at way too many people through a toxic masculine lens, he calls me on that shit all the time. He's like, no, what the fuck is this bullshit? Stop that. He'll flat out trick me and take me through a whole weird ass loop if I'm being way too judgmental or getting on this whole like all men suck thing. He's like, no, baby girl. You need to sit down, otherwise we're gonna have to do a whole little game you're not gonna like. What do you recommend for someone trying to find a masculine deity? What did I miss? Depends on the patron that you're working with. Yeah, I would say someone, if you have an idea, try contacting them. Just trying to see what's up. If you feel it's a wall, then I would start asking questions, keep pushing. Unfortunately, each relationship is so customizable, so individual in a sense. Like, it really is something you have to kind of mesh well with you, because like, even how I experience Loki, Random also follows Loki, is entirely different to how, she's going to experience Loki. Maybe we both will have an experience and share it and be like, hey, that's similar, cool, but it's not going to be entirely the same, because we both have different lessons to learn, and we both have a different relationship with him, so he's going to appear in many different forms for us. So if that could be another thing too, try not to focus too much on other people's perceptions of a god. Like, a lot of people try to put way too many limits on deities, in my opinion. I'm like, you think that a deity is going to confine themselves to your strict rules? Like, they're only going to talk to this person. They're only going to vibe with this person. I think it's more of just trying to like be self-aware of like, okay, if I were a man or if I were a woman, what type of energies am I vibing well with? What type of thing do I want to invite more into my life? What type of thing can I work through more? And then just start researching myths and see which one triggers for you. I realized changing chaos was a thing for me. And I thought I was really going to stick with the Greek pantheon for a long time. I had a thing where I didn't want to break out of a pantheon, because if you're with multiple pantheons, then that would be, I felt at the time, was a witchy fail. Like, you have to have one pantheon. It's like, yeah, you can break out. It's fine. Have a little change. Have a little chaos in your element. I also had a really big thing about hereditary. Like I've done a blood test, so now I know what's in my blood. But there's not a whole lot of like Norse stuff in there. Like, so I'm not a lot of Nordic blood in me. So who am I to work with Loki? And it's like, well, the gods don't care about blood. The gods don't care about who you're with or what you came from. Like the gods are just reaching out to whoever. It's whoever you connect with that vibes right. So maybe there's some blocks or some other things you're going through. Because I realized I had to kind of get over I can work with more than just one pantheon. I can vibe with someone who I don't also deem as toxic. Because I'm sure Hades is probably getting real pissed off going like, why are you putting all this weird toxic shit on me? I'm not that. Stop that. Probably one of the reasons he didn't want to work with me. And that wouldn't have worked well as a relationship for me or him. Let's see. Would you also correspond with your... depends on the patron. Would it also correspond with who your main feminine deity is, Shadow? Ooh, probably. I have a video going up soon about deities interacting. I have a really big thing with flow and change. They seem to be, in my mind, cornerstones to my personality, in a sense. So Persephone worked extremely well for me. I needed someone who could be the maiden and loves the flowery and the flounce and the delicate, to a sense. And I also needed a woman who claimed her own damn power, who wasn't a victim in some sense, or could be perceived as a victim. They didn't really give a shit at the end of the day. Like, so I think I fought that part because I perceived Persephone as possibly a victim, or possibly someone who was misunderstood, who wasn't listened to. And she had to check me real quick on that. She was like, how you perceive me, how anyone else perceives me is not the truth. I'm not saying what the truth is. But don't assume that your perception is the truth, that your perception is correct. Who am I? I am the Queen of Flowers. I'm the Queen of the Underworld. That's all you need to freaking know. You can look into my stories, read in what you will to it, but my story is my own. So I needed that oomph. And I needed this person who is in change. She's part of the season. She's part of the growth and the death and the constant cycles. She's a transition point between life and death. And I needed that as too. And Loki and Persephone get along oddly well. We'll talk about this in another video that's going live, I think, next week. But the one thing I think they don't get along with so much is Loki doesn't care so much about choice, personal choice, whereas Persephone definitely does. She needs an opt-in. Loki don't need no opt-in. He'll shove you. He don't care. I found people who work with specific pantheons for specific spells. That's an interesting concept. I've definitely just been pulling on my deities when I feel like I need extra help for some guidance. I don't necessarily pull them into spells. The one dude I do pull into spells on a constant basis is Bugaboo. This entity pretty much I encompass in full of spite or surprise. Like that is his emphasis. So when I'm like, I want to shove this in someone's face, I want to better myself so that they have a glimpse of me, and then it's kind of shoved into their face via the universe. Not horribly, I just want them to see me doing well. I use Bugaboo. Otherwise, I just pretty much use deities, but I don't see why not. Why not use a specific pantheon? Why not contact people, saying the gods for a second? Just be like, hey, I just kind of want to get some energy flowing for this spell. Would you mind helping me out? See what the reaction is. I don't think we need to hold the gods in such like hard, strong reverence as you think you do. I think you can kind of just flow in and flow out with them as much as possible. I also have to kind of like go over the fact that like, maybe I'm not going to be with the same deities my entire path. Maybe one will fall out of favor. Maybe one isn't what I need for my entirety of my life here in this plane, in this body existence, whatever. What have you? I think that the relationships of deities are all up to the witch and how they feel the need to use them / relate with them / develop a true relationship with them. It's all up to the relationship between the two energetical beings. What else we have? Enjoy the chat. Thanks everyone that comes early. Have a freak night. Great night. I think freak night better. I think that'd be more fun. Thoughts on Hecate? I have encountered her. Kind of freaks me out a bit. Possibly a great time, possibly not. I don't know. I haven't really worked with her much. That's something you probably have to explore yourself a bit. Definitely had an encountering with her when I went down to the underworld with Persephone, and this is probably the first time I've traveled somewhere through the astral and landed in another connective place where I felt other deities were watching me, as in like everyone else was kind of passed through. It was like walking through a train station where like you'll recognize someone famous, but you're like, I'm not going to bother them right now with a photo. I'm just going to keep on my merry way and go to my Starbucks. Like that was like that kind of interaction where I was just like, Mama Persephone's leaving me and I'm not being abandoned here. Not doing it. Freak myself out. But yeah, it is getting pretty late though, guys, huh? Oh wow, we've been on here for an hour and 16 minutes. So it's time to wrap up. I hope you guys have a lovely night. Know that even if you are experiencing #witchy fails, everyone does. It is fine. We're all growing. We're all changing. Things are getting weird. And I hope you all have a magical night. Thank you so much for attending my live. I make new videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can find me on all the social medias as Shadow Harvest. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.